Today we're going to be talking about engine damage from overheating. Here I have two pistons from a 5.7 liter Hemi that the customer overheated like nuclear hot. The customer said the engine wouldn't start and it was towed in. So I go out there with my jump box and the engine tries to crank over with the starter, but it's super slow. So I go out there with my big ratchet and turn over by hand, and it barely moves. Like, it's hard to turn. So we sold diag. I took the heads off, and we find severe engine damage from coolant temps from one of the DTC's freeze frame data set at 325. So these are two pistons I pulled out of it because it ended up getting an engine. What happened here was essentially piston ring failure, and the engine basically was half seized because the piston rings failed, and the wrist pins in the piston, these should flop back and forth freely, and they're seized. So the wrist pin in here, the engine squeaked when I tried to turn it over. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like nails on a chalkboard, that's what it made. And part of that was the wrist pin. The wrist pin is, well, essentially seized. You can put this in a vise and hit the rod and it'll move, but they're essentially seized because of the immense heat. So this is what happens when you get your engine insanely hot. And this is because the water pump failed, by the way, and they just kept driving it. The complaint said, was leaving the movie theater and the engine just shut off. I don't believe that at all, but their warranty company paid for an engine. So if you can see the scratching right here, you see the scratching right there of where the piston ring just completely failed. And they're seized in here, like in here, they're seized, you can't get them out. This is the other piston. I say the other piston. I didn't take them all out, I just took two, just to educate. Don't overheat your engine, people. You can for a very short time and it'll probably be fine, but don't just ignore it. Your car is gonna be yelling at you to stop. And if you ignore it, this is what happens. You buy an engine, you could have just bought a water pump or a radiator or whatever's wrong. You see that even the bearings started to show a little bit of wear from how thin the oil got. The coolant temps got to like 325, and that means the oil was insanely hot also. It melted the oil pan. You can see the skirt right here, all scored up. Every cylinder looks like this. This piston might even started to melt right there. I don't know if that's a casting defect or what, but that doesn't look right. And the other side doesn't have it. It's the immense, just gnarly scoring right here. All the pistons look like this. It's crazy. Never seen that before. Please don't overheat your engine. If you do overheat it, shut it off. Get it towed somewhere. It'll save you a lot of money in the long run. So if you want to go watch my short about what happened to this engine, the tear down, what it looked like, feel free to do so. That's all I have for you today. Just a little tip of listen to what your car is saying. It can save you a lot of money. So that's all for now. We'll see you guys next time.